welcome to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Randazzo. I'm joined by my two ravenously rambunctious co-hosts. To my right, it is the one, the only. It's Uncle Sam.
Hello.
To my left, it is none other than our very own Mr. Zolo, Mike Palazzolo.
Blessed.
And behind the computer, spilling his goo right onto the ground underneath him, it's Bruce, the tugboat.
The Virgin.
Venditti.
Well, that's simply just not true, but howdy.
Okay, I don't know if it's the lighting in here today or what, but he's not looking as pink today. He has a more orange.
He is right around the mouth.
He updated
right
the
around the
graphics
mouth,
card.
just looking pretty pink.
Yeah, the update to the
updated
graphics card
so it's
decreased
his
your
real color.
pinkness. He has a nice clean shave going besides the dirt stash.
I haven't shaved.
And a nice brand new haircut that I
Nice
wish you all
haircut.
could see.
About it.
His eyes are looking extra blue.
There, you happy?
Did you do something different to your camera today?
No.
Yeah, it looks really clean.
Yeah. You don't look like a total vagabond today.
All right. Well, thank you.
There we go.
You are one. but-
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah. Anyways,
Interesting.
it is a big, fat Victory Monday. We're back.
I haven't seen a shellacking like that since
Since Nam.
no, since the 85 Super Bowl.
It's a big Victory Monday. We have an immense amount of shit to discuss today. We're going to get in all of it. We're going to go through the entire slate of games. Obviously, Zolo's going to have 5 things. There's a lot to cover today. All right. But first, Uncle Sam, how's your weekend?
It's okay. I'm feeling better now. I was a little down for the count.
Yeah, you missed Friday's show.
Yeah, I was sick. I was pretty bad.
I
I had a fever. That's the only reason why I didn't want to come is because I didn't want to get anybody else sick.
well, I appreciate that because
Thank
'Cause
at least we're all
I
Thank you.
battled that fever for like 3 days, dude.
yeah. Were you
I
seeing
couldn't get
shit?
rid of it. No. I just, once the medicine took it hold, and I would be good for about 3 or 4 hours, and then would come right back. And it took me menage a trois of fucking medicines to get out.
Well, I'm glad you're here
Yeah.
because I told everybody on Friday that Wednesday with you and me might have been our last episode.
It might have
we
been.
didn't know if
I
that was going to be the
didn't
big
know.
one.
I was going to be gone.
We didn't know if it
The
was gonna
term used was this might be the big one.
The day I'm gone, I will be in an urn on the desk here.
be right next to you on the toilet.
I love that.
Right there.
That's
the desk.
that's oddly comforting.
Right next to your water bottle.
You know how we used Grandma Gigi for Zolo's spot a
Yes.
few weeks ago or
Did
last
you use
week?
this for me?
We used that for you. So
Okay.
you were here in spirit.
Yeah, the head's a little broken. What was Bruce throwing my
Bruce
fucking
fucked
guy
it all
around?
up.
I didn't
Yeah.
fuck it up.
Fucking
They came
asshole.
like that. Mine's
on,
fucked up
Bruce.
too.
Oh, that's
Come on,
My beard was long.
Dude, mine came with a broken arm.
Well, it's only Halloween, so you'll have
Right.
plenty of time to get the beard.
Right, I still have a couple months to go.
Yeah.
Rigo thought that was Santa Claus. He didn't
I
even
mean,
know it was him.
It's Santa Claus taking a dump, man.
Yeah.
Zolo, how was your weekend? Highlights, low points, pits, peaks?
Bittersweet.
Bittersweet.
Yeah, we did Frank Palazzolo's second birthday party on Saturday. Went well.
Happy birthday to little Frank.
Yep. And then Tigers lost. Lions won. Lost Aiden Hutchinson. So it was a bittersweet weekend.
I hear you.
But I love the fall.
Fall is a good time of year.
So what'd you think of that Tigers game?
I saw it coming Thursday.
Yeah, it was great what they did all year
Yeah.
for the last half of this season, dude. It was incredible. But there comes a time when the talent level just overdoes you, and that's exactly what happened.
I don't even think the Indians are that much talented. That much more talented.
I do.
Over under, they get swept by the Yankees.
They're not gonna get swept. They're gonna win a
No.
game. They'll win a game here and there. They'll win a game in Cleveland. The Tigers just needed a bat. Like you just stranded. They stranded a ton of guys.
That's what I
Thursday.
meant about the talent.
Oh, fair. Yeah, the timely hitting.
It wasn't the pitching.
The timely hitting.
The pitching was actually very good.
Even in that game,
Yeah.
Scuba was really good outside of the one pit. And it's not his fault that his team gave him no run support. You can't win with one run. They needed probably 3 or 4 to win that game.
Right.
They didn't get it, even though they lost by 7. Gave up 7 runs. But
And we'll see what happens from there on. I mean, I was listening to what's his name, the GM, that
Scott Harris.
I
Scott
was listening
Harris.
to him today, and he was mumbling some bullshit about Javi Baez coming back next year, and
Great.
It's gonna be a
was
problem.
just like, my God, dude, really? You haven't learned your lesson with him? Write the fucking check and send him on his way. What is wrong with people?
Bruce, how was your weekend?
All right. Fantastic on Sunday.
What did you do on Sunday, Bruce?
Went to Shores Inn.
How many?
5.
That's a light Sunday for Bruce. Only 5
Yeah.
beers.
I drove.
Who do you go with?
I'm trying to go crazy.
I don't know.
Well,
Who'd you
my
go with?
father And Christopher and Joseph.
Just you guys.
Oh, Christopher's in town?
Still.
Wait, Christopher's still here?
Yeah.
Actually?
Yeah.
Wow. Shout out to Cav Reagan. Maybe he'll be in the chat today. Yeah, so I agree. Bittersweet weekend. Tigers are out. Hopefully they have some building blocks now for next year, though.
I think they got a good little core going, man. They just need to add some bats, dude.
Gotta add some bats.
Gotta add bats.
They need
Listen
one
to
arm,
me.
too. They
what
need an
they
arm.
did was great with the payroll being as cheap as it was, but you need to fucking spend money to win a World Series. That's a proven fact. If you don't spend money, you don't win World Series, period.
The Rangers bought their World Series last year.
Yeah.
And then in a hypothetical, you got a Yankees-Dodgers showdown, which I think the Dodgers are in for hell with the Mets. But, even still, 3 out of the 4 teams left spend a lot of money.
Yes.
The Mets
You
spend
don't
a lot
win
of money.
a World Series without spending serious money.
You have to.
You don't have to go crazy, but you have to spend serious money to win.
If Chris spends half of what his father spends this offseason, half of what his father used to spend, half. Good thing. I think the Tigers, at a minimum, will be the front runners to win the division next year. At a minimum.
Can't disagree.
See what happens.
Should we get down to business?
There's somebody more depressed than the Tiger fans out there, and it's only in Jerry's world.
Only in Jerry's world. With that being said, I think it's time.
It's time.
It's time for Zolo's 5 thing. Bruce, best thing you've done all day.
Thing number one,
They-
real quick, the way it wasn't quite on this level before I start, but the way I would equate yesterday is when the Wings won the Cup in '97, they only had 6 days to celebrate because 6 days later, Vladdy got in a car accident that cost him his career. And this, of course, wasn't on that level. This wasn't a career-ending thing, but we should have had, this isn't a thing, we should have had, like, that's probably the best regular season win of my lifetime as a Lions fan, and I wasn't even able to enjoy it. Like, I literally wasn't able to enjoy it. I wasn't happy. Like, I wasn't, I was just
Oh, I enjoyed every minute of it. I like
that's
the way
good.
they rubbed their fucking faces in it.
and
Why
that's
did
good.
Dan Skipper out wide there at the end?
No, there was a dickening going on. Like
Yeah.
there was major disrespect going on.
Oh, yeah.
In the second half, like it was total disrespect on the Lions' part. Thing number one,
Deservedly so.
deservedly
They deserve
so.
that fucking shit.
I'm gonna get the Jerry Jones quote, and Jerry Jones had a quote after the game. We'll do it
I
right
got
now.
one for Jerry.
We'll do it right now. We'll do it right now. The gist of the quote was, things are bad right now, but today that was just a team in the Lions that was just having fun at our expense. Fuck you.
That's exactly what it was.
Fuck you.
What's wrong with that?
We, at our expense, you have officials making bad calls every time we come to your stadium. If we win that game, which we rightfully won last year, we have a home game in the playoffs and we're going to the Super Bowl. It's not my fault. You can't hire a competent coach. You can't draft well. You have a bunch of divas on your roster. There's no fun at your expense. Get good. Get good. Be good at your job. Be good. You're not good at your job because you created a brand. Good for you on that. You created a brand that funnels money into your pocket so you don't have to get good. Your fans aren't going to walk away because your fans aren't even real. They're not real people. So no, you get good. You get your team good. Come back and talk to us when they are, and they don't need the help of the officials to get there. Anyways, thing number one.
America's team.
The light shining in his face as he throws the interception is absolutely incredible, that picture. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Which one?
The last interception to Brian Branch before they pulled Dak, there's just the picture from behind his back is just this tremendous amount of light getting pumped into his face. The guy probably couldn't see shit.
Probably nothing.
But God's got to watch his team play. God's got to watch his team play. So, anyways, thing number one. Next man up is obviously the right mindset when it comes to Aiden Hutchinson, but they will need more than next man up because Frank Kaminsky got injured in the preseason. You lost Marcus Davenport. You've been getting nothing out of James Houston. You're down pass rushers right now. So, yes, it is next man up. Yes, I think this defense will be very serviceable without Aiden Hutchinson, even though it's built to go through him. But we are owed, if this is your Super Bowl year like you're saying it is, this fan base is owed a replacement for Aiden Hutchinson. It doesn't have to be as good as Aiden Hutchinson, but you need to get a body.
I don't agree with that. I think he needs to be as good as Aiden Hutchinson.
I love it.
For them to go forward.
Speak.
For them to go forward and to fucking win this division and actually go to a Super Bowl, they need to make a fucking real contribution here. Because if you're going to fuck around and you're going to sign a Zadarius Smith or somebody like that,
Doesn't cut it.
You're sadly mistaken. Because I will say this, with Hutchinson's motor, you don't have anybody else on that line that has that. Without his motor, you're not going to be successful. And I don't give a fuck who you blitz, who you're going to bring in. You need to bring in a solid player. You need to bring in a top-level player. And I'm not talking about some fucking 40-year-old guy. You need to bring in some young guy that's a top-level guy in this league, and you need to do it. You break open your little piggy bank that you've been saving all that money for, and you're going to have to give up some draft capital that I don't know what you're going to do what the 29th or the 30th pick of next fucking year. Who cares about that pick? Send that motherfucker to somebody and get a true pass rusher for him.
Okay.
Then if you want to go forward and you're going to sign Aiden Hutchinson next year and you're going to sign him to a big deal, you actually got bookend guys with a good core in the middle that you could have your offensive line, your defensive line can be the strengths of your fucking team.
Say the
That's
names.
how you win Super Bowls.
So with that,
Say the names.
with that, there are two names that are sticking out. And it's Trey Hendrickson and Max Crosby right now.
Forget about Hendrickson.
Okay, but hold
forget
on.
about the Hendrickson thing. I want a real pass rusher.
I want to throw this at you because the differential in what they're asking plausibly is massive. Okay.
All right, so what are they asking for the first one?
Okay. For Max Crosby,
Yeah.
the hypothetical right now that's floating around online is Max Crosby and a 2025 sixth round pick in exchange for the Lions 25 first, 26 first, 26 fourth, and James Houston.
Yeah, done.
Would you do it?
I would do it.
Done.
Go
You
ahead.
give up 2 firsts.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
You get 2
Listen,
years of control.
They're picking at the bottom of the fucking first round. So what?
So I don't like the hypotheticals, but if you want to talk what I would pay, like yeah, I would pay that. And let me tell you why.
Well,
You get-
that's what the Chargers had to give up to get Khalil Mack
It's in the
from
ballpark.
the Raiders.
And I think it was the same for what the Bears had to give up for Khalil Mack as well.
Yeah.
The Hendrickson one, the one floating around right now is that you could get Hendrickson for a straight up second rounder next year.
Don't worry about the comp. Don't focus on the comp. It's if you can get these guys, number one, it's the problem. If you can get either of these guys, you get them. I don't care who it is. You get them. And you're 100% correct. This
you gotta get
defense,
something that's equal to what you're trying to replace.
there's
and
one.
if you-
there's 4 guys in the league that are equal what you're trying to replace,
Exactly.
though.
That's what you need to do. That's what you fucking need to do. If your aspirations are to win the fucking Super Bowl, you have to either get 2 very good guys or one premier player.
Okay.
That's where your game plan is.
There's another list here with guys who would work and their teams are dog shit. Real quick, just a yes or no if you'd be interested. Say Max Crosby's off the table. Keon White from the Patriots.
No,
No.
Zadarius Smith.
No.
Trayvon Walker.
No.
getting there. They're not going to
No.
move him. I'm interested,
No.
but it's not a viable Hutchinson replacement.
Harold Landry.
No.
No.
Jadavian Clowney.
No.
Byron Young.
No.
Dennis Gardeck.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. He's not.
You just
fucking
turned your
Aiden Hutchinson.
back.
Here's the
He's
problem.
not Aiden Hutchinson.
Yes, but
You're right in one
Not Aiden
sense.
Hutchinson.
You're right in one
Listen,
sense.
I'll give you a list of fucking
Chase
names I
Young.
want.
Chase Young.
No.
No, because you had your opportunity to get him for a second rounder or a third rounder, and you chose
So
not.
the only option is Max Crosby, from what you're saying.
Your option is this: you call, see what the option is on the table. If these people are not available and not a serious negotiating tactic, the Raiders are dog shit. The Raiders would be lucky to win a fucking another game this year. They're that bad. The only team worse than the Raiders are the fucking Cleveland Browns. You ask for a serious fucking negotiation on fucking Myles Garrett.
I'm sorry. I'd rather have Crosby than Garrett in a heartbeat.
I would take either one of them.
But
Myles Garrett is a fucking monster.
Myles
dude.
Garrett is.
When you watch his
Myles
game,
Garrett decides when he wants to play and when he doesn't.
I don't
Yes, he
believe
does,
that.
without question.
I don't believe that.
And he has more injury history than Crosby. I'm sorry. I think Crosby is more of a Dan Campbell guy than Myles Garrett is.
It's hard to say. I don't believe that. I think Myles Garrett's gotten a bad rap over the years. He's the one consistent player on that team in the last 6 years.
This is something that you guys are missing. I do think they're going to pay the price for whoever it is. I do.
You have to.
Because they're walking around saying they're going to go win the Super Bowl. People are really high on this team. I think this team's a real deal. And I also don't think...
Let's say this. Let's say they do nothing. Would you be happy with that?
No, they're going to do something. They have to do something.
You know what their game plan is right now? They're saying that James Houston better have the best week of practice he's ever had.
That's not going to work.
That's one option. Your other option is this. They're going to take Jack Campbell, the so-called linebacker guy, and they're going to line him up as an edge rusher.
Not going to happen.
And they're going to rush him from the edge.
Listen, we're going to get serious here. We're going to get serious. If they want to win this, they're just what they're telling you in the media is different than what they're actually doing behind the scenes. They're going to try and get one of these guys. If they can get one of these guys, that's a different story. My guess is they're going to sell the house. My guess is they would pay the 2 first for Max Crosby. My guess is if Myles Garrett is going to be available, he's not going to be available. My guess if Myles Garrett is going to be available, they're going to pay the price for Myles Garrett. You got to keep in mind that they're not going to go after someone that isn't a fit. And on that list that you gave, there's a lot of non-fits. Like there's Sam linebackers. There's not guys that can go get in a three-point stance like Aiden Hutchinson did with the high motor that Uncle Sam is mentioning. It's got to be a certain position.
Just needs to be able to set the edge.
It's not a linebacker. It's someone that's got to set the edge and plays for 4 fucking downs.
And guess
that's
who
who it
does
is.
that? Myles Garrett is probably one of the best players at setting the edge in the league, period.
I don't know if this would make a difference, but Myles Garrett also has...
You know what I would like to see? Call the fucking Jets. Call them up and say, look, we know you're having fucking issues with Hassan Riddick. You can't fucking sign him. Let us talk to him.
He hired Drew Rosenhaus today. Fired his old agent.
And they're meeting. They're meeting before the game.
His old agent fired him.
His old age, yeah.
He's got
CAA
Drew
fired
Rosenhaus,
him.
so.
Drew Rosenhaus is meeting with the Jets as we speak before the game to try and get a dialogue going. But again, same drill. Love Hassan Reddick. He's a productive player. He's not the position that they need. And on top of that, a guy that's held out. He's not a true DN. He's not the set the edge guy.
Coming out of the college,
he's a
true defensive end.
They can't afford getting out of college. That's a Sam linebacker. In the Jet system, he's going to be a Sam linebacker for the Jets.
He can play with his hand down, dude. That's what he does. He's that versatile.
I don't think that's the guy they're going to sell the farm, though. They're going to sell the farm for the guy that they know can play with their hands
I just
down.
want the guy who's the best fucking elite pass rusher you can get. And he's one of those guys. Because when he's on, he's really good.
Myles Garrett has a serious no-trade clause. There's only 3 teams that aren't on it, and I can't figure out.
But they can ask him to waive it.
Yeah, they can.
They can ask him to waive it. I just don't. I don't see that happening.
Neither do I.
I don't see it happening. On top of that, I don't like. This is the thing with Crosby. I don't see him saying like, of course, Detroit. It's the one team with the timing that's perfect, but he knows his role in that system. Things have to be really bad there, really bad, for him to in the next 3 weeks. Like, that's what you're asking for.
Well,
you're asking in the next 3 weeks for things to go from bad to shit.
Sidelines and he's pushing his defensive coordinator. I would say he's a little fucking fed up.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
Things are bad.
And then on top of that, from okay, so things are bad with Max Crosby. Right. From there, you need the Raiders to budge. That ain't going to be easy.
Well, they still haven't budged on Adams. Mm-hmm. We don't know what's going on with fucking Adams, dude.
You just proved my point.
What is going on with that deal?
There's a theory he might play when he gets back.
Now he's going to play. That just doesn't read.
It's just a theory. It's
Can I
just
be
a
honest?
theory.
I don't think the Raiders are getting what they think they should be getting for Devontae Adams. I think 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby. If you guys are right and the Lions will sell the house, I think that could get done. More so than realistically,
reason
what
why
is
I'm saying this.
Devontae
All
Adams
right,
worth?
what are you giving up if you're the Lions? Seriously, what are you giving up?
For what?
Even the first two
For Max
round
Crosby?
picks. You're giving up what? Bottom 3 of the first round? Bottom
2 years in a
2?
row.
Bottom 2? Bottom 3? So what? So the fuck what? You're not picking in the top 10. If you were picking in the top 10, I would say absolutely not. But you're not. You're picking at the bottom of the fucking first round.
Yeah.
According
You're
to
moving
CBS
those
Sports,
picks.
You're giving up Tyleek Williams, defensive lineman from Ohio State,
Yeah, I'm giving up the
Okay.
picks. I'm giving up.
At
I'm,
what, 30?
29.
I'm giving up the
29?
picks because teams that have been better than you have used this strategy of fuck them picks. C1, what's his name? Sam Snead, Les Snead of
Yeah.
the Rams.
Yeah.
Oh no, Les Snead's the Chiefs. Who's the Rams GM? I'm gonna get this right real quick. But their battle cry was fuck them. Les Snead. I had it right the first time.
Fuck them picks.
Fuck
Yeah.
them picks. They
Right.
they had their first rounder in 10 years this year.
Yeah.
And that's how they won. Did they only get one Super Bowl out of it? Sure, but they're very good at evaluating talent. They're very good at
Look how they
developing.
rebuilt that team with
They're
nothing.
exactly. They're good at developing talent.
Yeah.
Guess who else is good at evaluating and developing talent? The Detroit Lions. So who gives a shit about the draft picks? Non-starter. You were walking around in the preseason.
You can't tell me putting a guy like Crosby or Garrett on this defensive line will make everybody on that line better.
It'll make everyone on that line better.
It'll make everyone
that's-
better.
and
not
again-
only that, you're looking at the future too. All right, because this cat might be able to come back by Super Bowl. If you go, this guy might be able to fucking play too.
Forget that. Next year, you have 2 years of control of Max Crosby and Aiden Hutchinson. 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years at $25 million at a very reasonable cap hit that goes down.
Right.
It's a no-brainer to me. It's not going to happen. It's a no-brainer to me, though. It's 100%. You're.
we can't
everything
say
you're
it's
hitting is-
not going to happen because we don't know.
Let's put it at 25%.
I don't know.
I-
I think they're stupid if they just sit on their fucking hands.
That whole thing about Hutchinson being back in time for the Super Bowl, every single place you look,
Let me tell you something.
10
That
to
that,
12
that was a
months.
clean
I've seen
fucking
6 to
break,
8.
dude. That helps it.
Yeah.
It was a clean break.
There was no arterial
There's
damage,
no-
nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing.
So I think he could be back.
On top of that, a little known fact that people aren't talking about right now, his sophomore year, 2020, that really shitty phone it in Michigan football season in 2020, he snapped his ankle. Horrible injury. It almost caused him to medically retire. He was thinking about not coming back because he didn't like the state of the program. Not only did he come back, he rehabbed harder than Ben Herbert, who went with Harbaugh to the Chargers. He says that's the hardest I've ever seen anyone rehab in my life. This guy's a freak. Aiden Hutchinson's a freak. Do I think he's going to be back for the Super Bowl? No. Do I think he's going to be back for OTAs? Fuck yeah. And I think he's going to be effective.
I agree.
And I think he's going to rehab harder than anyone. But there's a chance he comes back from the Super Bowl because he's a literal freak. If he can walk on it in 2 months and he could start running on it in 3, you're talking about January at that point.
I watched Jack Youngblood play, what is it, the divisional round and the fucking Super Bowl with
Divisional round.
with a broken leg.
all right,
They lost. They lost to the Steelers, the Rams.
let's move on to the second thing.
All right. I can't see the chat. We got anybody in the chat?
Yeah,
today, or-
Yeah, chat's popping off.
Chat's
Chat.
kinda going
I
on.
don't.
Chat's
See,
going
I don't see anybody.
on. Thing number 2.
What?
They could be telling you if there's something,
Yeah, we'll let you know.
important.
I'll let you know if there's something going on.
This is so you guys can see yourselves, you know?
Yes, you
I
can
don't
look at
care about
yourself.
seeing me, dude.
Anyways, thing number 2.
Fucking asshole.
Thing number 2, I think Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph could be the best safety duo in the league right now.
So, funny enough, I was having this conversation today. There was a couple that I think might compete. You want Tampa's situation with Whitehead and Antoine Winfield and that Tyke Smith guy. Theirs looks pretty good. Maybe Atlanta with Bates and I'm forgetting
Justin Simmons.
Justin Simmons. That's a good one, but it's top 3. I can't argue that.
Chicago's
Chicago's
got a good
situation
one.
is good, but you want to say
I
that
like Brisker. Brisker's a monster.
you want to say these are the top 2 right now? I'm good with it.
And can I tell you something else? Their production, their tackles, their turnovers are better than any of those groups that you just named for this year. And on top of that, Ife Melifonwu, who's a ball hawk, when you get him back eventually, slots into where Brian Branch is right now, and it allows you to put Brian Branch wherever you want him on the field. And you have all three of those guys on the field at one time. That's formidable. That's extremely formidable. But this is like
That eases your what you're missing at the Sam linebacker spot. So to have Brian Branch jump into that Sam linebacker role could do that.
I think this could
And
end up
that's where he
being.
excels.
I think Branch and Joseph, they tweeted a picture of it yesterday. It makes it funny. I think this is the closest thing we've had to Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor since Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor.
I don't know about that.
It has a lot of potential.
Benny Blades and William White.
Benny Blades.
And
Throw
William
up at
White.
you. Throw up at you for Benny Blades.
William White.
Thing number 3, Tim Patrick is emerging into exactly what the Lions need to be. He's exactly what I said he would be 6 weeks ago when they signed him, 7 weeks ago. It's perfect. It's a perfect fit. I think he's going to do anyone who's upset about Josh Reynolds. When you factor in,
hopefully this guy can stay on the field.
when you factor in JMO's emergence, and when you factor in Tim Patrick, how good he is blocking, how good he is on the outside of the numbers where you need him to be good. The Lions certainly have something in Tim Patrick, and I know a lot of people in Denver were kicking themselves in real time when this happened, Broncos fans, and I'm sure they're kicking themselves now because I think the Lions have a really good football player in Tim Patrick and someone I could see being here for a long time.
You know, I agree with that 1,000%. He fits into that third spot perfectly. But I'll tell you who else. Khalif Raymond looked really good yesterday too. They all look good.
Let's
but-
do this right now. Who on offense looked bad yesterday?
No one.
No one. No,
It would have been nice to see Laporta get a few more. I mean, if you really want to get picky, give him another target or two. Maybe he gets a second.
This is the thing though. Like this is when you're at full steam ahead. Like this is the good. These are good problems to have.
The offensive line pretty much was outstanding yesterday. They were
everyone.
outstanding. Ragnow was a monster in the middle of that offense. He and of course the MVP of the Detroit Lions and David Montgomery is unstoppable when that offensive line gets a nice little push. It got to a point where these backs weren't being touched till 10 yards downfield.
And I just want to point out, you had a perfect 12 carry split yesterday between the two of them, and it worked out flawlessly. It was a work of art.
Piggybacking off of that,
But I will say this. I don't want to sound like the downer here about the whole thing. Listen,
You will. Don't worry, you will.
This team that they fucking played yesterday gave up about second series. They knew they were going to get fucking hammered.
they might have.
And they gave up. Am I wrong on that or no?
They may have gave up.
It looked like to me they gave up after the second series.
They may have given up 2 weeks ago, for all we know. But yeah, you're right.
They looked like they gave up on the second. They were not the same team that Detroit played last year. They were not the same team.
But I'm not in the NFL on the road. I'm not.
And I'm not going to sit here and talk about the Cowboy injuries. They're missing 2 people, dude. They're missing 2 guys. Don't even talk about DeMarcus Lawrence. He went on IR 2 weeks ago. Okay? That's what it is. But you didn't have Parsons and you didn't have Kendricks. That's it. So what's your excuse?
Next man up.
What's your excuse, dude? You're supposed to be one of the deeper teams in this league, and you guys all laid down. You laid down like I'm not going to go there. But anyway, you guys laid down. You gave up. You gave up about on the third series of the game. How Mike McCarthy is still the head coach of the Dallas
No,
Cowboys.
we'll get there.
Hold on.
That's on here.
Hold on.
That's on here.
All right.
If the Lions won this game by 7 or even 10, then you could say, if Micah Parsons was there, maybe he makes a difference. Not 40.
No.
Not 40.
This was a bludgeoning.
Yeah.
This was the thing number 4. This was the most complete win of the Campbell Holmes era This was a statement win. It was clear that they were trying to make a statement. I think what the Lions did yesterday was disrespectful in NFL terms. I think there was a lack of respect to the point where I was curious I was watching at the end for the handshake because I thought Mike McCarthy would come out and be like, "Why did you run the score up on me? Like, why were you disrespecting me with your backup tackle running curl route?" Like, I thought that it would have been that. This was a statement. This was an absolute statement. It wasn't just a statement to the Dallas Cowboys, and you got lucky last year that you had help from the officials. It was a statement to the Minnesota Vikings that you're playing next week that watch out because this is what we can do to you. It was a statement to the Green Bay Packers, and you're not ready for this. It was a statement to the entire NFC. It was a statement to the Ravens, to the Chiefs. It was a statement to anybody that you were on watch. They were trying to cause problems yesterday, the Lions. They went in as bullies. And when in my lifetime can you walk in and say that the Lions they're going to be bullies today. They're going to be nasty and they're going to be mean and they're going to be disrespectful and they're not going to be classy and there's nothing that you can do about it. Do you remember that ever in your lifetime?
No.
You can probably count on one hand how many Lions teams did that, if any.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's been a long time.
Long time.
It was a statement.
I haven't seen them beat people up since Ndamukong Suh was gone.
Did you hear the stat about the last time they beat Dallas was 11 years ago?
It's 2013. It was the Calvin Johnson in the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
Like, they had no answer.
Yeah, with 3 guys draped all over him.
Thing number 5, this team is unselfish. It's tight-knit. It embodies this city, and most importantly, this team embodies this coach. It's why I woke up this morning and I'm not worried about anything. It took longer than usual for the locker room video to drop. Do you guys hang out for the locker? Bruce, I know you do. Do you wait for the locker room?
Wait for him after.
Yeah. I wait for the locker room video after every win. Like I'll go to bed as late as possible after a win, after a late game like this, just to see it. Didn't get to see it last night. So I saw it this morning and it was the best one yet. It was short and sweet. It was the best one yet. He gave a game ball to Jared Goff, who was incredible again yesterday. And he goes, I brought stats this time. He gave one to Brian Branch. And then Goff, before he broke it down, stopped and gave the game ball back to Campbell, who's from that area. And he played for the Cowboys, grew up a Cowboys fan, went to A&M. And this team plays for each other. They pick each other up. It's why I'm not crazy worried about Hutchinson. I'm only a little worried. We're lucky. We're really lucky that this is the era of Lions football we're living through right now because I have never seen anything like this. And people are noticing. Like you had Tom Brady saying yesterday, I would love to quarterback this team. Like I would love to be behind center for this team right now.
Don't make me think
And
about those
what the hell? Did you ever imagine that? Did you ever imagine in your life Tom Brady would be saying he'd wanted the quarterback for the Lions?
Oh.
No.
Yeah, there was guys that said they'd rather retire than come here from the Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There's one very, very lingering question.
You can lead it off. You can lead it.
So the last time that Jerry Jones, who we want to give a nice birthday shout out, yesterday was his birthday. Shout out to Jerry Jones, 83. The last time he fired a coach mid-season was Wade Phillips after he lost by 38 to Mike McCarthy's Packer team. That was the last and only time Jerry Jones fired a coach mid-season. Funny enough, the Cowboys lost by 38 yesterday, just like they did the last time they fired a coach mid-season. And Jerry, in typical Jerry fashion, came out after the game and said, "You're crazy for thinking that I would fire Mike McCarthy today. You must think I'm an idiot," was the exact quote. When does Mike McCarthy get fired?
You go first.
Who do they play this week?
Let me break it down. They're on the bye this week.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
So
They're
it
on a
would
bye,
be-
and then they come back and play
San Francisco in San Francisco.
In San Francisco. That should be Mike McCarthy's last game.
And then
Officially.
okay, so you're saying after their next game if they lose.
So you're saying October 28th.
It's not if they're going to lose. They're going to get spanked, and I think McCarthy will be.
Is there a circumstance you're attaching it? If he gets spanked, then he will
listen,
be fired.
If they lose
then
by double digits,
Then he
I
gets
think
fired.
he's gone. I think
right.
he's got
Go
to be
ahead.
gone. He should have been gone fucking 2 years ago.
go ahead.
When do I think he gets fired?
Yeah.
Right there. What week will we be in? 7, no?
I think he'll be gone by Thursday afternoon.
This Thursday?
This Thursday.
So you don't even think he gets a chance?
I genuinely right now He was 2 hours late to his press conference today. He showed up 2 hours late.
Like McCarthy did?
He had everybody sitting there, and he showed up 2 hours late to his press conference. Press conference continued per usual. And they spit roasted him the whole time. But I think right now, you've realistically, okay, at
You
least
think he resigns or he gets fired?
I think
he'll
he gets
get
fired.
he'll get fired.
In my lifetime, I don't think I've ever seen
Coaches don't resign; they get fired.
Yeah.
the Cowboys haven't been down this bad in recent memory. I don't see it getting up. I think he's lost the locker room. Dak with his whole little, oh yeah, I want you guys to jump off now. Well, anybody who was still on after that jumped the fuck off after yesterday. I realistically think that if Jerry Jones is going to do this midseason, it's going to be calculated. He doesn't want it to look like it was an impulse thing. But I don't think McCarthy makes it.
He had every right to get rid of him.
It's perfect. You do it on the bye week.
Like I said, they quit about what? Right after the second series, they quit.
They do it on the bye week. They can get an interim guy up to somewhat I think that it makes sense to do it
Get him up to speed.
Here's
to try and
Here's the
get
thing.
something together.
there's no get someone up to speed. It's Mike Zimmer. It'll be Mike Zimmer.
Which I don't think is any better.
No, not at all. It's an interim
No, that's
thing.
why the fucking Vikings got rid of him. Hello?
So
Stop regurgitating all these old motherfuckers and get somebody new.
I disagree that it would have been this week because it would have happened today. I don't think they're going to wait 3 days. I know people are gone and you can't really do install once these guys leave. They're going to watch their film today. They're going to leave tomorrow. So maybe you're in the ballpark, but it would have happened. And Jerry Jones is a proud guy, and he went up there yesterday and said that it wasn't going to happen. And he knows that he'll look like an idiot if he fires him the next day based on media and fan pressure. Jerry Jones is going to succumb to
real
that.
simple. If they don't go out and look impressive against San Francisco and really put one on San Francisco, he's gone.
I think it's a little bit longer than that. I think
he's gone.
I think they're going to get a leash after San Francisco, and I think that there's nowhere to go but up from here after what just happened, especially what San Francisco did to them last year, and they have their own issues. So I think they're going to show better against San Francisco, number one. Number two, and this can go for or against me, what I'm about to say, they're still in it. They're still in their division race. They're what, 3-3, 3-4 right now?
They
3-3. They're 3-3.
They're 3-3.
They're 3-3. Who's in first? The Commanders are 4-2.
Phillies
4-2.
Phillies 3-2.
Yeah.
So they're very much in the thick of it with all these divisional games in front of them still.
All right. I'll make an amendment.
It goes against me. My argument goes against me. I know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
They play San Francisco coming out of the bye.
Yep.
I right now I think they lose that game. Then they go to Atlanta,
Yep.
and realistically, right now,
The way Atlanta's playing, they'll lose that game.
I think they lose that game. Then they play Philadelphia at home,
A beatable Philly team.
a beatable Philly team.
Yes.
Let's say,
Divisional game.
hold on,
Oh.
let's say they split between Atlanta and Philadelphia. So they go 1-2 in their next three. And then November 18th, they play Houston at home on Monday Night Football. It's a battle for the state of Texas. And if they go 1-3 in that stretch, and the Cowboys come out of this at 4-6, he's gone.
You're in my exact window. I do think they lose to the Niners. I think they can beat the Falcons.
And they can beat.
And they're good on the road. The Cowboys have been good on the road, and they certainly should beat Philadelphia. Even still, if they're 0-2 going into Philly and they lose Philly, he's done. That's my first contingency, November 10th. If they're 0-2 and then they win Philly and they get embarrassed somehow by the Texans and they lose the Battle of Texas, he's done. The Commanders, I don't know
Unless
if they're
they
winning
ride
a
it
game
out
right
to the
now.
end of the year and then fire them at the end of the year.
Nah.
The last
Fucking Black
contingency,
Monday.
the last contingency is if they're still somehow in it and it's a bad showing against the Giants, they should beat the Giants at home. That's Thanksgiving. That gives them the window, the long window. That's when the Lions fired Patricia. That gives them the long window to figure it out. I think it'll be before that. I think 0-2 going into Philly and a loss to Philly, which could put you at 0-3, done.
What are we talking about here?
This-
He should have been gone today.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that. He
okay.
shouldn't have been the coach to go into the year.
I agree. I genuinely thought he would be gone today.
Yeah.
And there was one thing, and Dark Cumin just brought it up in the chat. You're watching the game yesterday, and the entire fourth quarter in Dallas on Jerry Jones' birthday, the only two things you could hear were Jared Goff chants and "Let's Go Lions" chants.
It's not.
That should have. I thought that was it right there. I genuinely thought it was.
He should have been gone.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
He should have been gone. He lost his team last week. Lost him again this week. Oh, what the fuck are we doing?
We gotta move quick.
Let's move on.
All right.
Last night on Sunday Night Football, the Bengals went to MetLife to play the Giants. It was pretty gross. I fell asleep. I did not see the end of the game, but it was fucking gross.
Listen to me. That was a hard played game.
Yes, it
on
was.
Both sides.
I hate to tell you this, but I see what you see with the Giants. Like there's a foundation there, and there's a little bit to like about
it's
the
legitimate.
Giants.
It's legitimate.
I'm ready to hop on that train. I will say this. After watching, I watched uninterrupted football all day yesterday. Didn't have to leave the couch. Cincinnati has the worst offensive line in the NFL.
Well, I've been saying for a couple of years that they have not been able to replace the pieces that they missed.
It was, and I'll give it to the Giants because the Giants' defensive front looked very stout. They got
And
some
that's
nice
without
pieces.
guys that are
That's
on
without
IR.
Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah.
But with Brian Burns and Okereke and even Micah McFadden had some nice moves. They looked good, but the Bengals' offensive line is fucking awful.
And Dexter Lawrence is a fucking handful.
Dexter Lawrence,
That guy's a handful.
He's leading the league in sacks right now. The Bengals have to, I don't know what they have to do, but they've got to do something. And that kind of brings me to the next point here. There's a lot of 2-4 teams currently. I'm going to give you the list of 2-4 teams, and out of them right now, who's still in it. Okay?
Yeah.
But I think the Bengals are still in it.
Bengals at 2-4, I believe, are still in it.
Reluctantly, because the AFC is so bad, the bottom half, I think the Bengals are still in it.
And in with this, I'm going to also say teams that I think are dead, that you can write off.
Go ahead.
The Raiders.
Dead.
Dead.
They're done.
Dead. Write them off. Put a fork in them.
And that surprises me. I really had high hopes for that.
The Giants.
I think here's the thing. I think they're still in it. They're not out of it yet. They're not out of it yet.
I want to agree with you, but
Well, I mean, the Giants, they still have to play. Did they play Philly already or no?
I don't.
No, they
believe
didn't.
so.
No.
Listen, that division is wide open.
Yeah, but they're fucked, dude.
I don't
They're
want to
honestly
spend
not
I don't
good
want to
enough.
spend too much time on it. The Giants are dead because they're in the NFC,
Giants are
but they're a good team. And you're right. The Giants are a good
Yeah.
team.
New Orleans.
They're trending towards dead because it's a two-horse
Yeah,
race emerging.
for some
I'm ready
reason,
to say it.
those first 2 weeks were a
They're dead.
goddamn anomaly. I wouldn't write them off yet because
writing
it's
them
still early.
They're dead.
Still early.
Derek Carr's banged up now. They're dead. Arizona.
Yeah, they might
They're
be dead.
trending in
They're
the
dead.
wrong way.
They might be dead.
I
They're dead.
really had high hopes for them.
Again, if they're in the AFC, alive.
Alive.
They're in the NFC in a tough division. They're dead.
Other teams that I think are dead, because I went through this today. The Rams are dead.
Rams are dead. Any one-win team is dead.
They're dead.
There's a
Carolina is
1%
dead.
chance on all the one. Any team that has one win is dead.
New England is dead.
Dead.
Well, yeah,
Cleveland is
it's dead.
whatever's below dead. They're in hell.
You know what? There's-
Jacksonville
there's
after
no way.
yesterday. Jacksonville after
Jacksonville's
yesterday.
dead.
They're fucking dead.
Yeah.
They're dead and they shouldn't be.
And they actually look good the last couple of weeks. They were looking good.
And I'm at the point now. I'm ready. Oh, Tennessee is also dead.
Tennessee's dead.
Tennessee is very dead.
I don't think Tennessee was ever a
I'm ready to
viable
say
product.
it now. They're saying an October 27th return date for Tua.
Yeah, they're dead.
If it goes any further than that, they're dead.
Well, they could get some wins between now and then too. I just don't know if they're going to,
Uh,
because that division's open.
it's open.
That division's open,
It's
and
open
a
because the
9-8
Jets-
team gets in the AFC. Remember
Jets
that.
are knocking on death's door. And
Oh yeah, the Jets are the other
By the way,
two-win
they're
team.
playing for the divisional title.
Exactly, they are.
The only game that they have, because they think Tua will be back October 27th against Arizona, they're at Indianapolis. If somehow, by the grace of God, Snoop Doogity Doo could pull off that win, they're not dead.
Listen to me.
And we agree. The
You have
Jets
a
aren't
better
dead, right?
chance-
The
Bruce
Jets-
has a better chance with Wonder Woman than they do winning that game.
The Jets, in my opinion, tonight is a must-win. We'll talk about this more. Tonight's a must-win game for the Jets, or I think they're knocking on death.
I will say this: tune into that game tonight. You're really going to want to see.
It's the game of the week. It's going to be one of my favorite
It's-
games of the year.
It's going to be a hard-fought battle, divisional game. All of it's on the line. Aaron Rodgers' reputation is on the
Can
line.
we talk about that when we talk about
Sure,
that game?
let's go.
Okay. Do you think Brian Dabble has done enough to keep his job?
Yes,
Yes.
you know he has.
Yes. Just because I don't think that the year started out very good for them to begin with. And he's kind of keeping them guys playing. He's keeping them playing hard. And as long as you don't lose your team like Mark McCarthy does, you have a chance to do something.
Yes, I agree with what he said. I think they shouldn't fire him. He's not the problem. I still think quarterback play isn't bad, even though Daniel Jones is playing very hard.
They still listen. Their offensive line is awful.
Yeah,
I mean,
needs work.
Listen, Daniel Jones.
I mean, the guys that they're putting in there at running back are serviceable, but
Oh, I think Chione Tracy's very good. I think he's very good.
I think
And
he's
Singletary
good,
was
too.
running hard before that.
I think they're very serviceable. I really do. I just think the offensive line is not good.
Without Neighbors, it's not pretty.
They don't have a lot of.
They
talent
almost
at the
won.
receiver.
They were two missed. They're
yeah.
a backup kicker. They're 2 kicks away from winning yesterday.
Was that because the Giants were good or because Cincinnati is not?
I think it's because the Giants' defense. There was
Giants
a
defense
minute.
Collinsworth had a great line. You didn't. I don't know if you saw it. It was in the second half.
Pittsburghing right now.
He goes. Yeah, they went for it on a crazy 4th down. They got stopped. They ended up turning the ball over later. He goes, I'm going for it right now because your defense is rolling. You think your defense is going to make a play. And that's without Kayvon Thibodeau's out 4 to 6 weeks right now. That's without
He's on
Thibodeau.
IR.
Burns was balling
He was
yesterday.
fucking out of control.
Balling. So, yeah, I think
You know what?
because their
That's the
defense.
best he's looked all year.
Yeah,
yesterday
For sure.
he was very good yesterday.
Moving on, let's talk about the Bears and Jaguars in London. We need to talk about the Bears because they won this game 35-16, but the Bears' 4 wins are against the 1-5 Jaguars, the 1-5 Panthers, the 1-4 Rams, and the 1-4 Titans. Are we ready to invest in the Bears and Caleb Williams, because he is playing a very good football right now, with their wins coming against pure dog shit?
Well, you could say this: the defense is for real. Their defense is for real. They are no joke.
You want
They are no fucking joke.
I want to point something out. I thought realistically, and I know, the Bears smoked them. That was the
DeAndre
worst the
Swift
Bears
played well
That was the worst the Bears defense has looked
all year.
all year. And Jacksonville's receivers just couldn't hold on to the fucking ball. They just kept dropping passes.
Yeah, that was pretty frustrating.
Where are you at with the Bears?
Yeah, so I've been high. I was never not high on Caleb Williams, just like I was never not high on Jaden Daniels. I think Caleb Williams is excellent. And he's going to be excellent. I do think that their current product is a product of beating bad teams at the moment. I do need to see more from both the Bears and Caleb Williams. I agree their defense is legitimate, and I think they're very much going to be in the thick of the wild card race because they're doing something that you need to do when you're not a talented team, a crazy talented team, and they have the talent.
Beating up on bad teams.
You need to beat the bad teams. You need to win the games you're supposed to win.
The test for me, the ultimate test for the Bears, they're going to the bye this week.
The Commanders.
And they go to
The
Washington.
Commanders. That's going to be
that'll
so
tell
much
you.
fun.
That's going to be the game.
So much fun.
Jacksonville plays the Patriots on Sunday in London.
This is the next coach to get fired. It's not Mike McCarthy. It's Doug Peterson.
Both these teams are 1-5. If the Jaguars lose
Yeah.
in London next week, does Doug Peterson get back on the plane?
I think a bad showing in London gets him fired. A bad showing. Because you have one bad showing. If you have a bad showing against the Patriots,
shoots it down. One of the two.
if you,
Counts the play
Shad, you
down.
mean Shad Khan?
if you have a bad showing against the Patriots, who are the worst team in football, in my opinion, you're toast.
Yeah.
You're toast. Because their players are saying, like, they use the quit word. They're saying quitting. That's the difference between them and the Cowboys, is they're literally referencing quitting. And when that happens, your locker room is gone. It's lost. All is bad. We're rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic at this point with the Jaguars.
I agree. If they don't beat New England, you leave him there. I'm go take pictures and Big Ben or whatever. Next up, Packers went to Arizona to play the Cardinals. Packers shellac them 34-13. Marvin Harrison goes down very early with a concussion.
Bitch. Cost me a game this week. Son of a bitch.
Sorry for your loss.
Where are we at now with Jordan Love? Do you think he can remain playing very
This
good
is what
football?
he is, though. Streaky.
Okay, so
far.
listen to their
You look
stretch.
good this
He's
week.
going to read their stretch to you right
I'm
now.
going to give you their
Yeah.
next few games, and you tell me where you're at here. They play Houston.
Okay.
Then they're at Jacksonville.
Okay.
Then they play Detroit at Lambeau.
right.
Then they go on the bye.
Okay.
At Chicago, at home against San Francisco, at home against Miami.
It'll tell you where they're at.
Yeah. I
if
mean,
they're
the next-
even in it.
I'll tell you what, you'll know where Green Bay's at before the bye.
Yeah.
If they could take one against either the Lions or Houston,
Yeah.
then I'm in.
but it's important to remember they have them both at home. And it's
Right.
at end of October, so you're going to get that Packer
That
weather.
was everybody's pick for the Super Bowl.
But three of their
All
next
of
five,
your experts picked the Packers to win the Super
a
Bowl.
lot of them did. 3 of your next 5, if not 4 of your next 5, are against very formidable defenses in Houston, Detroit, Chicago, and San Francisco, if they can figure it out.
Correct.
And Jordan Love, if anything, he's good. He's good when he's good, but he is very streaky and very solvable when he's bad. Very solvable.
That Miami game is Thanksgiving, I believe. It's the Thanksgiving
really?
night game, Thursday, November 28th.
And then they come here the following
Listen,
Thursday.
you-
Is that in
should-
Miami?
It's
No, it's-
it's at Lambeau.
It's at Lambeau. Listen to me. If Miami loses that game, that the next one to go Mike McDaniel, he deserves to be fired. In my eyes, he does.
On the
Just
other end
because
of
what they've done,
On the other end of this coin,
what they haven't done.
we all got very high on Arizona for a minute, and then they kind of just took a dump on us.
You know what? They're
What's the projection?
the
for Cardinals
offensive
going
line, their defense has been underwhelming. Their offense.
Can I?
Kyler Murray's been fucking erratic.
Hey, dude, I'm gonna be honest.
That's not
Kyler
him.
Murray does not look good.
No.
He does not look good.
No.
They don't look very good. Even James Conner doesn't look that good.
And these guys did look good for a second.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I think Gannon might be over his head right now. I think that they didn't do nearly enough to they could use Cliff Kingsbury right now. They could use coordinator Cliff
offensively,
Kingsbury.
They're not real.
It's not clicking.
You know what? Jonathan Gannon's not a fucking offensive guru.
He's not.
And
He's a defensive guy.
You want to know what's funny? 3 weeks ago, because they play the Chargers on Monday night this week at 9:00. That would have been all Arizona.
I would have
And
loved to
now
seen
it's not.
Arizona take a page out of fucking Detroit's book and line it up with James Conner and 3-4 tight ends and start beating the fuck out of people.
Or
that would
Baltimore.
open it up.
Or Baltimore.
Yeah.
You have Connor and Kyler just run the
Yeah.
ball until someone stops
Yeah.
you. And then it opens everything else up.
Yep.
I agree.
Moving on. The Colts went to Tennessee to play the Titans. Colts are now 3-3 through 6 games. Where do they go from here? Anthony Richardson, it looked like he was going to play yesterday, and he
At the
went
last
out
minute.
at the last minute. They threw Flacco out there, and the Colts get another win. Where are we going with Indianapolis?
It's real simple. Joe Flacco should be the quarterback of that team. I don't give a fuck how healthy Anthony Richardson is. He's not consistent. He can't other than the shots downfield, he can't hit nobody within 5 yards of him. He's awful.
Their last second loss against the Jaguars away from Flacco being 3-0.
Yeah.
Wait, did they win the first one or did they lose the first one? They lost to Jacksonville. They won yesterday. Didn't they win their first game? Was it the Titans maybe? Oh no, they beat the Titans yesterday.
Their
Sorry.
first win.
No,
was-
Flacco's first win. He came in
Pittsburgh.
relief. And they won, didn't they?
They won.
Yeah.
And then they lost to Jacksonville and beat Tennessee.
It should be the other way around. The commitment to Flacco should remain until he blows it, and he will eventually. He'll slow down eventually. But I don't know why you would pull the plug on him. And I know he wasn't great yesterday. He wasn't outstanding. I think he had 2 picks or something like that. He was very
he
good
still
last
pulls
week.
out wins.
He's pulling out
And
wins.
you know what? Fucking Brett Favre used to throw 3 interceptions and win.
I'll tell you what, they play Miami this week at home. You got to go Flacco in that game.
I would love Flacco.
They go through a little bit of a gauntlet after that. It's at Houston, at
Let me
Minnesota.
ask you a question. Let me just for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
Put Flacco on that fucking Dolphins team right now. Instead of fucking Snoop Doogity Doo and what's his name? What was
Skylar
the other-
Thompson. Skylar
Whatever.
Thompson.
Skylar fucking Thompson. Skylar Skywalker.
Okay.
Put fucking Joe Flacco in there. I'll bet you that team would have lost a step.
They play Miami. I'm playing Flacco in that game. Then they go to Houston, to Minnesota, at home against Buffalo, and at the Jets back to back. And somewhere in there, the wheels will fall off.
When they have to face the good defenses, that's when it'll get tight.
I agree. Other side of the coin, Will Levis. Calvin Ridley hasn't done much. DeAndre Hopkins hasn't done much. Tyler
Listen,
Boyd
that
really
whole fucking
hasn't done
team
much.
hasn't done much. You know what?
Is
They
that-
haven't been able to replace. Tony Pollard's played pretty well, so you really can't fucking.
Listen,
he's been serviceable.
Here's the
man.
question he's going to ask
Their
you right now.
offensive line is garbage.
Here's the question he's going to ask you right now.
Yeah.
Are they all playing poorly because Will Levis is bad?
Yeah.
Is that the problem?
Well, it starts there. I mean, let's be honest. You can't block. You can't block anybody. This guy's running for his life. It's to a point now where he's hanging on the ball, looking for something that's not there,
Listen to me.
and it's just getting worse and worse and worse.
This is the National Football League.
Yeah.
When you have Alex Orgy's stat line of 16 completions for 95 yards, a touchdown, and a pick,
Yeah.
it's just it's not. He's not good. And every week
He makes a stupid mistake.
he does something stupid, and it's not going to get any better. This was a winnable game.
He's
for
cost them 2 games
them.
himself.
This was an extremely winnable game for them, and they couldn't fucking get it done.
He's cost them 2 games.
Yes, and you're right. Tony Pollard hasn't been awful.
The defense
can't get it
has
done.
been serviceable. They haven't been great, but
I was so high on this entire division, but
It's just
if you recall, it's
the
because
wheels have fell right
it was
off.
all the contingencies, right?
Yeah.
Houston, yes, could be a Super Bowl contender if Stroud returns to form. He kind of hasn't through a couple weeks, and they're banged up, and they're doing it with their
You know what,
defense.
though? I will say this on the Stroud thing. Guess what, dude? He ain't surprising anybody this year.
Yeah, and that
People know how to game plan
that-
him now.
just reeling it back in. Jacksonville, can they win? Yes, if they take the leap and this new look offense does well. Tennessee, can they do it? Yes, if Will Levis was what he was at the end of the year last year. And then, of course, the Colts, can they do it? Yes, if Anthony Richardson plays like the top
Stay
5 pick.
healthy.
And here we are. It's not even the healthy thing because he's been, like, of course he's been off the field, but he wasn't great when he was on the field at the beginning. So I just feel like it's all bad for that division. It's the opposite of the NFC North, complete opposite.
We're going to stay in that division. The Houston Texans went to Foxborough to play the Patriots. Obviously, Texans come out on top 41-21. And this game to me was
Didn't get out of hand till the second half. But,
Yeah.
I will say this. The Patriots haven't given up.
no,
You have not seen that team give up.
no. And I mean,
Unlike the Cowboys,
it was great.
unlike the fucking Browns, you haven't seen these guys give up.
Drake May's first start, he actually threw the ball to wide receivers
Yeah.
instead of the other team and Hunter Henry. Demario Douglas had a nice little game. Booty had a nice game for the first time fucking ever. Their offense actually looked semi-competent yesterday. They can't run the ball without Ramondre Stevenson. And
No.
I mean, what
And
it
he
is.
went in active before the fucking game started.
Correct. But I will say this, and I want to know if both of you agree with me. He had 243 yards, 3 touchdowns, and yes, he did have a couple of picks in his first start. I didn't think he looked bad, and I think if you're a Patriots fan,
He looked better than Jacoby Brissett had.
oh yeah,
I will say that.
this should give you a little bit of hope for the future. It ain't this year,
Yeah.
but he's at least something you can build on. Agree or disagree?
I think they should just start him from here on.
Oh yeah, I don't think that's a
Don't
question.
try to put Brissett back in there.
I don't think they.
Unless this kid gets hurt, leave it to him.
I think I could see the qualities that people like about Drake May. I could see it yesterday. The long ball
Big kid.
to Butte was outstanding, and they ain't great. They're the worst team in the league. They need a lot of help, but they can get a lot of help. If you're patient and you build properly, like this is a good foundation.
Agreed.
Is Drake May?
The Texans coming up are at the Packers, at home against the Colts, which is a divisional game, at the Jets, home against the Lions, and then at the Cowboys. How do we feel about them going forward? Stroud is not playing his best
Well,
football.
this will tell you here.
No Nico Collins.
You
No
better,
Nico
you
Collins.
better get it together here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot riding on the next couple weeks. We'll know if they're in that class of Ravens and Chiefs. We'll know if they're in that top tier.
They should go 3-2 in the next 5 to feel good.
Yeah, internally, people might even be thinking you need to do better than that. That you need because you have a lot of these games at home too. You got to remember.
The one thing that they have in their favor right now is that they're 5-1, and they're in the weakest division in football.
Mm-hmm.
So if they drop 2 of the next 5, they'll be at 8-3, and I don't think anybody has an issue with that.
No, because they'll still be leading their division.
And the AFC 8-3 is cash money right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Moving on, the Ravens played the Commanders. What do they call this game?
The battle for I-95 or something like
Yeah.
that.
Ravens come out on top 30-23. Now, I know I don't want to hear your stereotypical bullshit fucking response here. What could possibly prevent the Ravens right now from winning the AFC? And I don't want to hear the road to the Super Bowl.
Lamar
goes.
Jackson forgetting how to play football in
Okay.
the second half.
That was better.
Is that better?
That was better.
Okay.
Yes. I appreciate that response more than the road to the Super Bowl goes through Arrowhead.
It does.
Oh my God.
I think that the only thing, and it wasn't missing yesterday, and it certainly wasn't missing against the Bengals. I think the only thing truly missing from the Ravens game right now is to open up their pass game a little bit more. Just a little bit more.
They are first in every statistical rushing category across the board.
Listen, Derrick Henry
He's a
had
fucking
averages 3.5 yards per carry.
No.
No, it's more than
Not
that.
anymore.
Let me finish. All right, maybe 4.
No.
4.2.
He's in the
No.
fives.
Anyway,
He's in the fives.
Why is that though?
Because he's behind a good
Hold on,
offensive
hold on.
line for the first time in
Going
his
through the
career.
first half of every fucking game this year, the guys had like 50 yards. Okay? Going through 3 quarters of the fucking games all year, the guys had 65 yards. Okay? And then when the defense is dead tired and he's ripping off 50-yard runs at a pop, then you wonder why he's got 140 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And you know who's
Okay.
got him beat in yards per carry? There's only one person in the league that has more yards per carries than Derrick Henry. You know.
Can
who
I
it is.
guess who it is?
You know who it is.
Go ahead.
David Montgomery.
No, it's Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson.
Really?
Yep.
They're
Why
one
did
and
I see somewhere Montgomery was at like 5
they're 1 and 2 in yards per carry right now,
Wow.
and that's a recipe.
Yeah, but
for
you look at the
disaster for
number of
everyone else.
carries these guys are getting are more than Montgomery.
That's why I want them to open up their pass game. a
Well,
little
Derrick
more.
Henry doubled it. He's at 24 fucking rushes yesterday.
If you
Yeah.
can't stop it, you can't stop it.
Right. And honest to God, right now,
Think about it, their defense has actually been pretty shitty. They're starting to catch up now. They're starting to play fluid together.
Ravens defense.
Yeah.
Zay Flowers had
They're
100.
not there yet.
Zay Flowers had 132 yards against this dog shit Commanders secondary. I'm gonna say it. There's not a team, at least in the AFC, that can put the brakes on Baltimore.
Agreed.
There's
As
not.
of right now, no.
When they're full, and this was the case last year too. When they're full blast, when they're playing their best
Right.
ball, they're probably the best team in the league, let alone the best team in the AFC. When they're at their best.
Flip the coin. Washington loses this game by a touchdown. They put up 10 points in the fourth quarter to make it look pretty. Do we think any differently of Washington after this game?
If they had some kind of remnants as a defense that could get a fucking stop, that game would have been a lot closer.
And they couldn't run the ball.
And this is
They were
going to
missing
be
Brian Robinson.
this is what their season's going to this is what the Commanders season's going to boil down to.
Just
is their secondary is bad, and if you
Yeah.
go up against a team with enough offensive weapons and someone that can game plan for their bad secondary, they will lose. They will lose. So I'm curious what Shane Waldron for Chicago does in a couple weeks against the secondary, because they're the worst in football. So if you want to see Caleb Williams cook, it should happen in this game. This is how you'll learn how good Shane Waldron is for the Bears. I don't think he's that good, so we'll see how it goes.
moving on. The Philadelphia Eagles went to Cleveland to play the Browns. Eagles come out on top of a game that nobody wanted to win, 20-16. Supposedly, this Eagles team was designed to win a Super Bowl. And Nick Sirianni pulled actually, you and him have something in common. He pulled a Britney Spears over the bye week and shaved his head. Do you have any thoughts on that?
No.
Now that he's part of the bald club?
Not really. No, I'm not a fan.
There's actually, he was talking shit to his home fans yesterday after they started chanting "Fire Sirianni." It's honest to God,
He should have been fired last year.
it's getting kind of embarrassing for him now. Like the shit talking your home fans, you walk out with the shaved head after the bye week, and actually, I wanted to say this: Pat McAfee today. The only thing we gained from this bye week was a dickhead haircut. Fire this guy and feed him to the heroin addicts in Kensington. That was his quote today.
Yeah, that's a real nice quote.
Is
He's
that
he's an idiot
Is
too.
that a Philly? Is that a Philly suburb? Is that where all the crackheads
Yes,
are?
correct.
Well,
It is.
not a suburb.
I don't know how this Philadelphia team is this fucking talented, because you and me spoke about this earlier. They have some of the best few guys.
You
most
look at the
elite
look at the
guys.
last 5 drafts, and they have taken the elite players in these last drafts in the first round.
They have done jaw-dropping shit in
Yeah.
the drafts to get
yes,
the most elite guys
Howie
possible where they're
Roseman
at.
is like a fucking magician snatching up talent, but this guy can't get them to play together. This is the problem.
Yeah, I think things are really bad there. He's also on a short list of people I could see being fired before McCarthy.
Really?
Yeah, that was a clown show yesterday. The talking to the fans at home
It's embarrassing.
is a
for
clown show. The not being able to perform well against the Browns, and the Browns defense was great yesterday. I'll give it to him. Not being able to perform well off the bye against the Browns, clown show. Bring your kids to the press conference afterwards, so you don't take as much heat. Clown show. It's not good.
I have a hot take.
Please.
They go to MetLife this week to play the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
They get fucking stomped, and he loses his job.
If they lose the Giants, he gets fired.
If they lose to the Giants this week, he's gone. He's fucking gone. Are the Browns going to be sellers at the deadline? Because that's the only piece of Browns news that we could get at this point that would be semi.
You would think they're going to be.
Yeah, I think the Browns are out of it.
At what point? I will say this. I mean,
You feel bad for them.
I don't think they have a bad coach. I really don't.
He's not the problem.
He's not the
Yeah,
problem.
but fuck them.
The big problem is this.
Deshaun Watson.
At what point do you just tell Deshaun Watson
They can't.
go take a shower and don't come back?
Stefanski said again today that that's their quarterback.
Yeah, he's just saying what he's told.
There's a prevailing theory right now, and we're running too long on this show, so I don't want to do this right now, but it's a conversation I want to have with you guys. There's a prevailing feeling that the Haslams, their ownership group, is forcing him to pay Deshaun Watson play Deshaun Watson because they facilitated the trade. They don't want to be embarrassed about the trade and how it's not working out.
It's more embarrassing what they're doing.
There's no way out of his contract. It's all guaranteed. There's another 3 or 4 years of it.
They need to just write the check, put in 30-30, and call it a day. Call it a fucking day, dude. What are you doing? What are you doing?
To answer the initial question, yeah, they're gonna sell. It's the amount of teams in NFL history
So where do you think Deshaun
to
Watson
start
goes?
1-5.
He
You
doesn't
think,
go
you
anywhere.
think
He
they
doesn't
try
go
to deal him?
There is not one
No.
team in this league.
No.
No.
The only way, and I said it, I think I said it on Wednesday, the only way to trade Deshaun Watson is to a team with a first-round pick attached to him, to which they will then cut him and pay the $100 million plus yada, yada, yada dollars. That's the only way you get him off. Guys who I think are going to be gone, I think Amari Cooper is as good as gone.
Yeah.
Amari
I
Cooper
don't think
will.
He can't continue to do it.
There's no reason to keep him there. I think they will trade him before the deadline. A couple other names that I saw, obviously, I saw Zadarius Smith. I also saw Denzel Ward, which was shocking me because they paid him a shitload of money too. But I just don't know how many guys you're going to be able to keep. That Kamara guy,
Kamara Owasu, yeah, he's one of the best linebackers in the league.
They're talking about him getting traded. Like, I think they're going to do a Panther-style liquidation here pretty quick.
Okay.
Moving on. The Pittsburgh Steelers headed to Las Vegas to play the Raiders. All that talk we had about the Raiders fight song and all that happy horse shit, my God. Steelers are 4-2 now, though. Justin Fields still at the helm.
Justin Fields did me in yesterday.
As far as 4-2 teams go, where are we at with the Steelers?
So it's the same conversation we had before, right? Except with
And Fields ran for 2 touchdowns yesterday. He was doing it on his own.
I think they get in just because of all the dysfunction that's going. Like Cincinnati and Cleveland are dysfunctional in my opinion, and they have a 2-game lead on Cincinnati. So I think they do get in. Pittsburgh, where they stand amongst the other 4-win teams. Kansas City, do we think we're better? They're better than them?
No.
Minnesota, 5-0.
No.
Houston, 5-1.
No.
Detroit, 4-1.
No.
Atlanta, 4-2.
Yes.
Baltimore, 4-2.
No.
Chicago, 4-2.
Yes.
I agree on that one. Green Bay, 4-2.
Yes.
I don't agree on that one. Tampa, 4-2.
No.
Washington, 4-2.
Yes.
No.
They're realistically they're one
So,
of the top teams in the AFC.
Do you know how we tout Pittsburgh for the defense? They have the highest point differential in the AFC.
Yeah.
You know who's got the highest point differential in the NFL?
The Detroit Lions
Well, just in general, the top 4 teams,
are all.
the NFC North.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. We kept saying, "Oh, at what point? At what point?" I don't think there's a point. I don't think there's a point where Russell Wilson starts this year.
No, I think he does.
But
I don't agree with that.
Still work. What?
I think once he's healthy, he starts.
Dude, he's been fucking. Come on. We're going into week fucking 7. How is he not healthy from a calf strain?
This is just the Raiders'
Still
dysfunction.
calisthenics on the plane. He ain't there
Fields-
yet.
Dude, come on.
Fields was bad against what we now know as a
They
bad
handed the ball
Dallas
off to
team.
Marshawn
I think that he's 1 or 2. It takes 1 or 2. It takes 2 weeks.
They're beating the Jets.
I don't know if
They're beating the Jets.
they're eating the dogs.
They're beating the Jets. And they might be beating the Giants. And then they go into the bye. If they go into the bye 6-2, you tell me Justin Fields loses his job. He don't.
Yeah, they have to win all those games, but even still, like that threat is always looming, and Justin Fields is not that good. This is the Chicago Bears. He's beating up on the bad teams and the teams that he's supposed to beat, but he also has the losses against teams that he should beat. Like you can make the case they could be 6-0. So I don't think they're winning. I don't think they're
I agree
winning.
with that.
I don't think they're winning because of Justin Fields. I think they're winning in spite of Justin Fields at the moment. There's still so much more to be desired. You know,
I think.
Listen to me. You got a receiver like Pickens. This guy should.
I
be
don't. You know what? I'm
dominant
so
receiver.
sick and fucking tired. George Pickens has had 4 different quarterbacks in 2 years, and it's never been dominant. It's never been dominant.
the quarterbacks
four
have all
quarterbacks
been
have had.
been shit. They've all been more
That's
brown than the
the
Myles
problem.
Garrett jersey next to him right now.
I guess.
Put Flacco on that team.
Oh, here we go with Joe fucking Flacco again. Jesus Christ.
He's got-
Flacco, I think Flacco
could
would
go
thrive
anywhere.
in Pittsburgh. I think Flacco would absolutely
Could you see
thrive.
him driving the
It's
ball
a it's a
downfield
perfect
with
situation.
Fryermuth?
Decent
Oh,
running game. You throw the ball when you have to.
Yep.
Inversely, you have the Raiders now at 2-4,
Goodbye.
and it's
Good
not
night.
good.
Good night. If Gibson still has a job at the end of the year, I'll be shocked.
You have no Zamir White, who's been dog shit all year. You have no fucking Devontae Adams, Aiden O'Connell, your boy.
Their offensive line has to be bottom 3 in the league.
I mean, it's bad. Are they at the point where they're gonna pack it in, or are they gonna
They're already packing
sell?
it
I
in.
mean,
They're already packing it in, dude.
you think it's over? Season's over? Yeah. Do you think Antonio Pierce keeps his job?
No.
No,
I think he's gone at the end of the
he barely got the job.
I know.
He barely got, and I feel bad because he never had a quarterback. Josh McDaniels technically never had a quarterback, but it's driving Derek Carr out of town, like
No,
letting.
I don't agree with that. Josh McDaniels had better quarterbacks than this guy.
Oh, agreed.
Fuck.
But they drove Derek Carr out of town, and that was the end.
That
of
was ugly.
that was
That
bad.
was ugly. And for Mark Davis to allow that to happen, shame on
They got
fucking him.
Patriots.
He's getting
They
just,
got-
They got
he's
Patriots.
getting exactly what he deserves.
It's the same thing that happened here with Patricia and Quinn. You
Yep.
brought in people that made decisions based on ego, and that was
Yeah.
that. And it cost Derek Carr, and it sucks. And that's why Devontae Adams went there. He never complained about how Derek Carr was bad. He went there to play with Derek Carr. Instantly, you make your star happy by not moving on from that quarterback. But they gave in to the coach, and this happens all too often in this league, is you give in to the egos, and boom, egg on your face.
Is there anything we need to address on TikTok before we move on?
No.
No, not so far. Okay. Moving on.
Okay.
The Chargers played the Broncos, and Jim Harbaugh was brought into the Blue medical tent before the game. He said he was having an arterial fibrillation, where his heart was fluttering a bit. He came out today and said the only way that he won't be on that sideline to coach a game is if he is dead.
Whatever.
It's a hell of a win for them.
His heart
This
was
was
palpitating
this-
on his little legal situations.
He's in legal trouble?
Yeah.
News to me.
I think this was a very, very good win for the Chargers. It was 23-0 going into the fourth quarter of this game. All of Denver's points came in garbage time. I thought that Herbert had his nicest looking game of the year.
And he wasn't that impressive either.
And he wasn't that impressive. But I thought the Chargers did a nice job of running the ball against a pretty stout
I
Denver
really like
defense.
that kid they got, the Vidal kid. The
Kamani
running back.
Vidal, yeah.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
that kid's a fucking pinball.
What happened with Denver?
It's inconsistent, dude. We thought they had the best defense in the league.
How nice would Travis Hunter look there, just migrating over a couple blocks from Boulder to Denver?
It would.
Travis Hunter would thrive as wide receiver one for that team. I think he would fit. That's the perfect piece for Bo Nix.
Again, you don't have a wide receiver one there. You don't have a running back one there. I think that much like New England, it's just a talent thing. But their defense is still pretty nice.
Yeah.
As far as the Chargers go, they're now sitting at 3-2, and they're second in the West with the Raiders. I mean, essentially for all intents and purposes, eliminated. And I think we saw that the Chargers are a better team than Denver yesterday. Do we have any chance of seeing the Chargers in a wild card spot?
Possible.
I wouldn't have admitted this 2 weeks ago, but yes, it's if he has these guys playing decent ball, and again, it's the 9-win theory with the AFC. If he has these guys playing decent ball, this is what Harbaugh teams do. They never give up. He's always fucking pounding football down their throats, and they're going to be playing together for him at the end of the year. I don't think they're talented, and that's only discrepancy is the talent discrepancy. But if they beat teams that they're supposed to beat, pull one or two out against someone that they're not supposed to beat, there's your 9 wins, and they're going to get in.
Especially with the Jets looking the way they are, the shit show going on in Miami, the shit show going on in Cincinnati, the AFC South being dog shit. I mean, if you only get one team in from the South, 2 from the North, and 1 from the East, I could definitely see the Chargers sliding in there.
Possible.
Next up, the Buccaneers went to New Orleans to play the Saints. Tampa Bay comes out on top in this one, 51-27. Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Do you think Baker Mayfield's the MVP of this league right now?
No.
Oh, okay. Zolo?
Yeah, I do.
I'm seconding that.
It's Baker, it's Lamar. There just aren't many. There aren't many guys. It's still a little early, but like on paper.
As of right now, I have one guy that my eyes is MVP of the league. Sam Darnold of the undefeated Minnesota Vikings.
He's very much on the list. Very much on the list.
Could Goff be on that list?
No.
Not yet because of the slow start.
Could I get any higher?
I'm just asking a question.
Right now, in my opinion, and I know,
My God.
I think Baker Mayfield's MVP. Sam Darnold is not. They're not going to give Sam Darnold an MVP because Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold. Okay, I'm sorry. That's the truth of it. Lamar Jackson.
That's racist.
Lamar Jackson, I'll give a possibly to, and honest to God, right now, you probably say Derrick Henry's in that conversation, but right now, what Baker has done, you've got to give him his flowers.
When are people going to take notice of Sam Darnold?
No, people are noticing Sam
I don't
Darnold.
notice Sam Darnold. Fuck Sam Darnold. Granted, Tampa won this game yesterday against the Rattler, who I did not think was all too impressive. And they did a very nice job against Kamara.
Yeah, he's played a lot of football. He just Not very good.
Not a lot of good football.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that Tampa Bay right now is the strongest team in their division. They have huge playoff hopes, and Baker right now, in my opinion, is the MVP of this league.
I heard a great conversation on the way here on how they lost Dave Canales, who completely revitalized Baker's career last year.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, this could be a big loss. This could be a big deal for them. Liam Cohen, who was his quarterback coach last year, stepped in as the play caller and has done just as good, if not better, of a job. And Baker's playing like he was supposed to be the thing. He was supposed to be a big deal and number 1 overall pick. And man, you know, if your team didn't just beat mine down there, Cleveland, I wouldn't do this right now. But I'm going to remind you that you had Baker Mayfield and you guys ran him out of town, and now you're stuck with Deshaun Watson because Baker Mayfield is very much a top 3 candidate for the MVP. Does it hold? Don't know. Have no idea. But right now, Baker Mayfield is very good and very much in that conversation.
Agreed. And we all agree that the Saints are cooked, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, Saints are cooked.
I mean,
Getting there. It's getting there.
it's
They're not out officially. 'cause
well.
of
So
the
you
first
think
few
it's still
wins.
getting there? You wouldn't say that they're dead because I think they're
Not yet.
They can't win the division.
they're dead.
They cannot win it. They're 0-2 in the division, right? They've
Only nice thing for them
There's
is
still fucking 4 more games.
I don't think they're better than the teams that they played though, except for the Panthers.
only nice thing for them is going forward. Their next few games is Denver, and then at the Chargers, and then at Carolina, and then they have another divisional game against Atlanta, and then they play Cleveland.
That could bury them.
It could either bury them or
It'll either
completely
bury them or they'll
put them right in it.
Denver and
the
the
thick of it.
Chargers aren't winnable games anymore for them. Those are tough games. If this and
all
Rashid
tough.
Shaheed might be banged up, supposedly that's
Yep.
that's a development today. Olave might be banged up. Who's catching passes there at
He's
that
got a
point?
concussion. He's out.
Yeah, Olave's in protocol. Who's catching passes? Foster Moore, Bub Means. Did you see the Bub Means touchdown yesterday?
I did.
Bub Means, baby. Moving on. Falcons played the Panthers. Falcons won 38-20. Kirk Cousins right now, comeback player of the year.
How the fuck did you take Carolina in this game?
I took Carolina because I'm a man of integrity, and I really thought that Atlanta would get punched in the mouth by the Red Rifle, and I was wrong, and I won't be making that mistake again. But right now, Kirk Cousins, coming off of a nice game yesterday, not the most statistically impressive game, but a nice game. Do you think he's comeback player of the year?
So far,
Yeah.
sure.
Or are you going to sit here and tell me it's Sam Darnold?
Sam Darnold.
Zolo, your thoughts on Cousins?
Is Sam Darnold not eligible because he wasn't injured?
So that's a thing. They're gearing the writers towards making sure it's players that are coming back from an injury the year before.
That's so fucking stupid, dude.
Yeah, because otherwise I would agree with you. It's
Who
Darnold.
won it last year?
DeMar Hamlin.
Did he win it? No.
Yeah, that
Joe
was-
Flacco.
Oh,
won it.
Flacco won.
Flacco won it.
Flacco won it and deserved it. Same with
DeMar
this
Hamlin
year.
came in second.
So far, anyway,
There's
should
some,
never been on there.
there's
Next time, don't get vaccinated.
there's some good candidates though.
I think Sam Darnold.
What's
Yeah,
his
Darnold
face?
could-
J.K. Dobbins could fit this
Yeah.
bill.
J.K. Dobbins could, yeah.
Yeah, if you're going to go
Patrick
injured
from the Lions.
players,
Tim Patrick.
mean-
there's a list of guys that could fit this bill. So, but right now, yeah, Kirk Cousins is the one that stands out, and the league loves a narrative, and they love Kirk Cousins
joke.
as they should.
so,
so
one.
you wouldn't put Sam Darnold as an MVP candidate, and you don't want to put him as a comeback player of the year candidate. So what the fuck does he win for being undefeated?
Dude, he's undefeated through 5 games.
There you
He'll
go.
lose to the
It
Lions.
still
this week.
means something.
Well, if he finishes fucking with 9 wins, it doesn't mean much.
If you recall, the Vikings were undefeated through 7 or 8 games with Case Keenum at the helm. When were they undefeated?
2 years ago.
Was that 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
And
And then everything went to shit.
okay,
Yeah. I'm. Oh no, excuse me. It was 2017.
2017.
2017.
That was the Minnesota Miracle play to Diggs. Then they traded Diggs, and it all went to shit.
Do the Panthers have a legitimate opportunity coming up to win a football game?
who do they play?
They're at Washington next week.
No,
No.
At Denver.
yeah, possible.
At home against New Orleans.
No.
They might, if there's
don't
one
know
team in the division they could split with, it's New Orleans.
Oh, this gets
Yeah.
very good. At home against New York Giants. That's a Munich game.
No, that's the Brian Burns revenge game. Which game is worse, the Munich game or this Sunday's London game? Jags. What would you rather watch, Jags Patriots or Giants Panthers?
I would rather.
Giants, Panthers.
I
Giants
would rather
Panthers.
watch Giants Panthers.
Giants Panthers.
Then they go into the bye. At home against KC.
Loss.
At home against Tampa.
Probably a loss.
At Philadelphia. Book it. I'm taking the Panthers in that game. You can write it down now.
Still
Write it down now.
dude.
And then they have Dallas, Arizona, Tampa, and Atlanta to finish out the year. They might go 1-15.
You never.
They'll win one
Nick Sirianni gets fired before then. They could turn it around. And
See what happens.
Just like last year, I
There's
think
no turning it around.
they'll pull one divisional game out.
Philadelphia.
they still have the talent.
Yeah, but it's a lost cause. Lost cause. So we have two primetime games back-to-back at MetLife Stadium. They were ripping down the Giants posters last night and putting up the Jets posters. Tonight, on Monday Night Football, Buffalo's heading to MetLife to play the Jets. Buffalo, a 1.5-point favorite. The over-under is 41.5. Who'd like to start?
Wait, can I ask you the question beforehand? It's my favorite question.
Oh, I'm
to ask.
sorry. Did I miss something?
No,
Yes.
you didn't
Please
miss anything.
ask me that
This is my favorite question.
Ask me
I want
this
you guys' thoughts really quickly. Bruce, I want your thoughts too. Who needs it more? Jets or Bills? Who needs this win more?
The Jets,
Why?
because they just fired their head coach, and we're about to find out if it's Rodgers or it's Saleh.
Uncle Sam?
I don't think that has anything to do with anything.
Well,
Well, who needs it more?
tell us why.
What?
Who needs it more?
Who needs it more?
Who do I think needs it more, to be
Yeah.
honest with you? I think Buffalo does.
Go ahead, tell us.
I think Buffalo does.
Yeah, but why?
Well, just because of the way fucking what's his name gave away the game last week, I think they need this game more.
That's the new Amu,
Plus-
by the way. The
plus
new
you-
Ahmed is Sean McDermott
Hey,
after playing the 9/11.
listen.
After saying the 9/11 terror
What?
were inspiring. No, we're gonna call him Mahmoud Sean going forward.
Anyway, I think he's a fucking idiot.
Mahmoud
I'm not a fan
Yeah.
of his anyway. I think he should have been
Mahmoud.
gone already, but I don't see how he's still the coach of the Buffalo Bills when he's underachieved every year with the best so-called quarterback in the league, and he underachieves every year.
So who needs it more?
He said the
I
Bills.
think
He said the Bills.
do.
This isn't even a question for who needs it more. All right. The Jets, if the Jets don't win this game, they go to Pittsburgh next night on Sunday Night Football. Then they can get an easy win at New England. That'll give them 3 wins. Then they go Houston, Arizona, and Indy down the stretch. And right now, with the team that they are fielding, with a 1-point loss to Denver and then a touchdown loss to Minnesota, I don't think they beat any of them. This is a must-win game for the Jets. One, you've got to see Aaron Rodgers actually play competent, decent football and find some receivers. You had new offensive coordinator. If Hackett was a problem calling the plays, now you should be able to have it done. And Aaron Rodgers needs to put on a show tonight because there has not been one fucking game all year where he has gone out there and played a complete game and played great football. I'm sorry. 2, you got to figure out why your team is no longer using Breece Hall, who we all touted as a top 3 running back coming into this season, and they seem to forgot he exists because Uncle Sam's thick boy came in and took over the show. And 3, Garrett Wilson is a top fucking 5 receiver in this league at his best, and you have the quote-unquote GOAT quarterback who can't find him. Your defenses looked lackluster through the first third of the season, and if you don't get it together now after you made Rob Saleh the scapegoat and changed the play callers, it's done. It is done. Shut the fucking door on them. They're done. Buffalo will have a 2-game lead on them in the division, and they will never look back. This is a must fucking win game for the Jets at home. Period.
Yeah, I think it's the Jets need this more. And I think everything is still in front of them. I think the path is still in front of them. I think the Bills are going to get a reprieve this year because they're just talentless. And I think that this regime gets one more year. I just read
Guy
something.
keeps getting
You're right. You're right, and they should have fired him.
bullshit.
They should have
We
fired him
called last year.
after the Chiefs. They should have fired him after they lost the Chiefs. That being said, this is a reprieve year because they knew they were rebuilding, and it's in hopes of getting everything towards next year. They just got lucky with a 3-0 start. I think they go 3-3 tonight. I think they lose. I think the Jets do need this more. They fired their coach, like Bruce said. They have to get this right because the window is for sure closing on the Jets. You brought in Aaron Rodgers. It didn't work last year. He hasn't looked good. The clock is ticking. They need this because they can get in. If they win this division, they could get in, and then who knows what happens from there. They still got the defense. They still got Garrett Wilson. They still got Breece Hall. They still got Mike
They
Williams.
had the number 1 red zone target in the league. Alan Lazard.
The Jets.
By
need
the
it.
way, that's my anytime touchdown tonight, Alan Lazard.
Let's go. Pick the rest of the game.
One more thing.
One more
One more thing. This I know this game does not matter for Buffalo. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. They go on to play at Seattle, against Miami, at Indianapolis, at home against the Chiefs, at home against Frisco, and then they finish out the year Rams, Lions, Patriots, Jets, Patriots. If you got to pick one, beat the Jets on December 29th and let them take this one. The Jets have to win this game to stay relevant. If I'm going to pick it, give me Buffalo -1.5 all day long. I'm going to take the over in this game. You can't really rely on anybody from the Jets to put a prop bet on because, you know, if you take the Garrett Wilson over, he'll get 7 yards. I'm going Josh Allen over 199.5 passing yards, which I don't know. That seems alarmingly low to me. Give me Khalil Shakir over 34.5. My anytime touchdown scorer is James Cook was questionable coming in.
He's out officially.
He is out. Well, give me Josh Allen to run one in.
I'll go. Jets win. Jets cover. I like the over in this one. I think the Jets offense takes a massive leap with Todd Downing calling the plays this week. Give me Garrett Wilson anytime. I think Garrett Wilson has to look good today. And you ready for this one? I'm going to take the fun out of everything right now. Give me Breece Hall anytime. I think that all of the stars for the Jets are going to look good tonight, and they're going to ball out.
Go ahead. It's all on you. Would you like to know Aaron Rodgers passing prop off the rip?
Yes, I would.
It's 213.5.
I'm going to take the Jets. I'm taking that prop, by the way, over on that prop. And then my anytime touchdown is Alan Lazard. And what's the props on Braylon Allen tonight?
I will tell you the props on Braylon Allen over 34.5 rushing yards
I'm going to say yes, over.
and 8.5 attempts.
I'm going to say over that.
Oh, that doesn't spell very well for Breece Hall if Braylon Allen's getting 10 carries.
It's at the end of the game, garbage time.
Oh, because the Jets are up so much that it doesn't matter.
so
Bruce,
much.
Give me the Jets, the over. Tyler Conklin anytime. How many?
Is he playing? He had a
replays this week?
concussion, no, last week?
Conklin's in tonight.
Is he playing?
Conklin's in.
And
What were you asking me about?
what are his receptions?
Conklin receptions. Oh shit! Sorry, I'm looking at alt receptions. Excuse me. Player total receptions. Tyler Conklin 3.5.
Ooh, I wanted to say 3, but ooh, that's tight.
Take the alt at +2. Alt line +2. I would hit that.
Yeah,
I probably will hit that.
yeah.
Don't forget that Alan Lazard touchdown tonight.
Oh, hey. Alan Lazard anytime touchdown.
Tonight.
What?
Tonight.
You want me to hit the Alan Lazard anytime?
You better do it.
Guess what?
What?
On Wednesday, when I'm the only
when
one,
they're in the fucking red zone, who does he look for?
when I am the only one who took Buffalo, and I lose my parlay because I threw the Alan Lazard touchdown in there,
Okay.
we'll revisit this conversation.
Okay.
So obviously, everybody here besides me thinks that the Jets' outlook for the Jeff Ulbrich era is pretty good. Then, hey,
See what happens.
see what happens.
Got to let it play
They
out.
need it. You've been there. You've been at Monday Night Football for Jets Bills. You know that
And
crowd's
they
gonna
won.
be hype.
And they won,
They need.
even after Aaron Rodgers died.
If they don't get this, I certainly am counting the Jets out of the division race, but probably the wild card race
Can we admit if they lose this game, put a fork in them?
for the
They're
division.
mathematically not out of it.
For the
Okay,
division.
I'm not asking you if they're mathematically not out of it. They're done.
For the division, you could put a fork in them, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Anyways. Bruce, you have anything to add?
Nope.
Uncle Sam, do you have anything to add?
What's the other game?
There's only one tonight.
Oh, there's only one?
Only one.
Thank God. I hate that 2 fucking Monday night shit.
I believe next week you get 2 games. We get 2 Monday night
See, I
games.
don't like that shit.
Shit.
I don't like the Thursday night game anymore either.
Why?
You need to do away
Thursday
with
games have
that.
been good though.
The Thursday
that
night
They've
game
been
is
good this
You
year.
know
They
what,
got
though?
it right this
You know
year.
what? They need to just it's too much, dude.
Next week.
Too much fucking football.
Next
dude.
week, you get the 8:15 start on Monday night. Ravens at Buccaneers.
That's a good one.
And then the 9 p.m. start.
Is Chargers and who?
Chargers at Arizona.
That could be fun, but those
Yeah.
aren't bad games.
No, I'll take both of those.
Those aren't bad games.
And then the 4:25 slot. Kansas City at Frisco.
You know who's somehow at 1 o'clock? It's Lions Vikings are at 1 o'clock.
Thank God Kirk Cousins ain't playing.
Anything to add?
I'm all
God
set.
bless America. God bless Jerry Jones.
Happy birthday, Jerry.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. Make sure to follow our socials, Instagram and Twitter at Tip Balls, TikTok at Tip Balls Podcast. We go live there now, by the way, so you can watch us there if you're tired of watching us on YouTube, but you shouldn't be. And if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Music, hopefully Bruce remembered to upload the episodes. But if you'd rather see our faces, check us out on YouTube, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notified when we go live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, sometime around 5. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will be back on Wednesday with a big-time fantasy frenzy. Have a great evening.